Good morning, my creative friends. Dr. Minette Riordan here. This is Painting in Your PJs live with Minette. For this summer, I am going live Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 8 a.m. Mountain Time, except for tomorrow, which I think is June 14th, as I have another event to attend. So I will not be live tomorrow, June 14th, but I'm going to record something for you today and drop that a little bit later so you'll have something to watch at the time. So, welcome to Painting in Your PJs. If this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by to have a look. I'm super excited you're here. What is Painting in Your PJs? It is all about art as process and as a tool for relaxation, calm, as well as personal growth and self discovery. So, I love talking about the interconnectedness of art as one of the most powerful ways I know to just connect with my emotions and feelings and what's going on inside of me. And I've started calling this my morning art activation process or my M.A.P routine. And I do this every morning. I've been having a lot of fun really playing and exploring some different questions and things that we can do. Good morning, Judy. Welcome, welcome. And so today I thought we'd do something with some lettering and some watercolor and create an I am poem. It's a little bit different than what I normally do. And you won't necessarily find a lot of consistency in this channel. I'm not someone who's just going to teach watercolor, but I am someone who's going to help you connect to your inner world if that's something that you are seeking to do more of and to have it be really fun and playful. It doesn't always have to be super, super serious. I'm all about making personal growth playful, creative, and fun. So let me switch my screen and we're going to dive right in. So I had my Daniel Smith. Sorry, hold on just a second. Haven't started talking much this morning. I'm a little froggy, as I am on many mornings, but it will pass. So I still had all my Daniel Smith watercolors out from my retreat this past weekend, Beyond the Page with Andrea Chebalou. And that's still available for purchase. We had so much fun. And so I'll just give you a sneak peek at some of the things that we did. We really looked at color and the connection between color and emotion. We also looked a lot at shape and the connection between shape and how we're feeling. And we used watercolor to dye and stamp on fabric. So a lot of exploring shape and texture and color. We played with pairs of emotions and how different pairs of emotions make us feel. And you can find all that information at creativestretch.teachable.com. But because I had all my watercolors out and I've been having so much fun playing with them, I thought I would continue that journey today, but take a little bit different perspective. We also did some slow stitching, made some fun pockets, again, played with shape and line and marks. We also listened to music. We did a lot of fun things, but what I thought about this morning is about how we can use I am statements to help us feel more of what we want to feel. And I did some journaling the other day about what am I committed to? What what do I say I'm committed to? What am I actually committed to with my actions? Again, just having fun with some color. This was water soluble crayon. Looking at what needs to change was just as led me on this journey of yesterday. I have a short about this, but not a full length video. I did just a quick drawing with water soluble crayons of what does it feel like in my brain. So you can see this is some of my morning practice that I'm doing every morning in my journal. This morning, it has been so rainy here in sunny Colorado. I am really ready for some sunshine, but it's feeling pretty sunny inside. So I had some fun doodling this morning and just doing some journaling, some writing. Good day, Blanca. And just that noticing when it's gloomy outside or sunny outside. Sometimes it's sunny outside and feels kind of gloomy inside. Miss Georgia's going to come say hello this morning. And then I was just doodling and playing. So there's so many different ways that your morning art activation process can look. For me, it always includes some combination of writing and art making. Sometimes I art first and then it takes me a while to figure out, really what's the meaning of this. And sometimes I like to draw first. And we're going to do an I am poem like this. I was playing with black pens to see which ones were really water soluble so that if I'm drawing first and I can paint over it with watercolor, I did not want that black to smear. And I tried some of my favorites. I put them all away. I tried a Posca, which is great for upper layers, but maybe not those under layers. And I played with the Higgins Black Magic, which is one of my favorite pens, but it's just slightly water soluble, which is great if I were doing something in grayscale. And so I went back to a beloved favorite, the Sharpie, and I'm going to be using this big chisel tip. I think I might combine that with a more fine point, but these are excellent for painting watercolor over when I want something bold. I really love my micron pens as well. But this morning I wanted something maybe a little bit bolder in my journal. And excuse me, took you a couple of minutes to find me this morning. Interesting. I wonder why. I don't think that I did anything different this morning, but you're just in perfect time as always. So what I want to do is to create an I am poem, if you will, or just a series of I am statements in my journal to remind me, because sometimes we get kind of lost and stuck and we forget really what magnificent, amazing beings that we are. And I'm in a program this year, a spiritual program that I love. And we were talking about I am statements from a very different perspective, and rather than saying, I am loving or I am love, to simply say, I am love, I am artist. There's a sense of embodying the words in a different way. So if you want to play along with me this morning, I want to encourage you to just jot down some I am words quickly. You're only going to need really probably about 5 of them, and think about not just how you are right now, but maybe how it is that you want to feel as well. I just got Mira Patel's new book, and now I'm forgetting the name of it. But I love her graphics and illustrations, and she had this great graphic, just a really simple Venn diagram. And on one side, she said, you know, who what did she say? I should have brought the book downstairs, but something about, oh, who I was yesterday. And in this circle was who I want to be. And then this is where we are right now, right? In the center space. And we often find ourselves caught looking towards the past or looking towards, oh, someday I will be. And so today I want you to think about what could inhabit this space right here of who am I today? Who am I today? So on my list, I've got love, creative, artist, abundant, generous, kind, supportive, present, calm, courageous, committed, powerful, I am intentional, and I am curious. And so these were all some of the things that I was thinking about as I was wondering what I wanted to get up to this morning. So, just like in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, you can quickly write down some of the words that first pop in to your mind. A lot of the words that I've been really working with this year are radiant, vibrant, alive. These are all the different ways that I want to feel. I want to feel curious. I want to feel I've got courageous on my list here. So can be, so what do I want to say here? So what these are not the roles that you play. These are states of being and emotions, right? Creative is a state of being. Artist is a role. So maybe leave out the roles, right? I mean, the roles that I play, actually, I'm going to make a note to myself. And tomorrow we're going to look at, not tomorrow, Thursday. I will not be here tomorrow. And on Thursday, or maybe this will be the recording, I'm going to record a video to go that will air tomorrow morning at this same time. So you can keep your appointment with your creativity, but I won't be live tomorrow because I have a speaking event in the morning. But there's a difference between the I am statements, which is often where we go in the roles we play, like mother, daughter, sister, lover, aunt, nature lover, right? There's so many aspects of self that can also flow from I am. But today, what we're focusing on are states of being and emotions, states of being and emotions. And then we're going to turn that into a beautiful piece of art. And what I love about this type of practice is one, I'm going to integrate words into the piece of art. And the more that I'm writing those words, the more that I'm just sitting contemplating those words and playing with them, then the more that I start to embody them, that I start to believe them, that I start to form some of those new neural pathways of ways of being and thinking about myself. So, this is a lot about shifting our inner energy states. And again, I'm playing with my beloved Daniel Smith watercolors. Andrea and I had so much fun using these in our Beyond the Page workshop. And I just picked a selection of colors that felt kind of bright, how I want to feel. So I'm having the colors match how I want to feel. So alive and vibrant. So I have a yellow, I have two different shades of turquoise. I have this gorgeous green gold, which I really love. And this weekend, I fell in love with opera pink. I didn't know if I would like it, so I bought a tiny tube. And of course, now I'm going to have to go indulge in a larger tube as well. So again, I picked colors that match how I'm feeling. So, how we're going to start this page, and you may have seen these in other people's art journals, and it's a really fun way to add quotes to a page, to write poems, to write notes to yourself. At the end of the day, they almost become unreadable, but not quite. So, this is a great activity. I know some of you have grandkids and neighbor kids that you're spending time with this summer. This is a really fun thing to do with kids. So, I'm going to start by dividing this space, and I'm going to use wavy lines. You could use straight lines, but I love the wavy lines. And I'm just going to come in and start to divide my page into a few different spaces. And so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. So I drew 5 lines to get 5 spaces. And I am going to pause for a second and sharpen my pencil. I love pencil and I want a really sharp pencil, so it makes it easier to write. Trying not to dip my ribbon over here. That was from a tag we made this weekend. And trying not to dip my pen in. And I'm a lefty, so you'll notice as a lefty that I tend to turn my page a lot. And I just remembered I'm supposed to start my phone to do the time lapse video for the short. So give me a second for my other technology, trying to get all the things going this morning. Brad and I are doing some testing on different ways of helping get the word out about our show. All right, so I have my lines, and I'm going to start with some of my I am statements. And I'm going to completely fill the space with letters so that my letters start to just become new shapes. And so they're going to go from the top to the bottom of the line. And I'm looking at this going, you know what? I want to draw my black lines first because I think that's going to give me some better guidelines. So I have my chisel tip Sharpie. And I may even vary, it's a brand new Sharpie, so yummy, so juicy. I just got a bunch of new Sharpies. And I may even vary some of the thicknesses of the lines, always looking for different ways to create that sense of visual interest. Definitely love those big, fat, juicy lines. All right. I'm guessing this one's going to end up being a little fat and chunky down here. I had some little like divots in my page or something, and that Sharpie, and this page is gessoed. If you're using watercolor paper, obviously you don't need to do anything to it, but this thin paper in this Hanamula journal, which is one of my favorites because it has the lines on one side and the blank page on the other side. It's a favorite. All right, so we've got a big fat chunky line in there. And then I'm going to come in and just start filling it with words. And I like to use some lowercase and some uppercase words just for fun, or letters. I am not a lettering expert, but I love playing with letters. And I'm going to start with that I am love. And I'm just filling my space. This kind of reminds me of making a Zentangle string. I am creative. So I'm just filling this whole space with letters. Making the letters fit whatever space is there. And again, they can be uppercase, they can be lowercase. Have some fun playing with your letters. It's good printing practice for those of us that don't do a lot of handwriting anymore, or we don't like our handwriting. It's a fun way to kind of fall in love with your own handwriting again by just making it a little more fun and playful. So I am love, I'm creative, I am radiant. I've been feeling just wonderfully calm lately. Like a lot of people talk about wanting to feel happy or joyful, but for me, often calm is how I want to feel. I have some fun in person teaching coming up this week, so I need to also make sure that I'm present this week. I'm doing a leadership training for a local company. I have an in person Zentangle class on the weekend. And these are going to be really skinny, but I'm going to squeeze them in there. Because again, no one needs to read this but me ultimately. See if I can squeeze that T in there. I am calm, I am present. And I am intentional. So you can see we don't have space for a lot of words. So if your I am list is long, like mine is, you can have a lot of fun doing this over and over again. But I'd love to hear some of your I am words if you're playing along with me. How would you fill in that blank I am? How would you fill in the blank I am? And I'm always grateful to be alive, but alive is different than just surviving. It feels like that sense of thriving. And let's see, I think I can fit kind in here. I just tried to squeeze in as many words as I could. And then I'm going to go back over all of these with the Sharpie one more time. And by the time we finish this page, it's going to be a really pretty, colorful page. So I'm going to come in with a little smaller Sharpie this time. And I'm just going to go over all of these words with that Sharpie. I wasn't quite courageous enough to go straight in with that Sharpie. I wanted to use the pencil to get my words lined up. I might add a little decoration. Those are beautiful. Light, spirit, free, joy, form, energy, connected, practical, spiritual. Those are beautiful, my friends. Beautiful. So I had a little extra room here, so I'm just going to have some fun. So I thickened up a couple of those letters. Just more space to play in. And I'm not worried about my pen marks exactly following the pencil marks. I can always erase them. Although I discovered in my sample drawing that I'm using my absolute favorite Blackwing pencil, but it's a very, very dark lead in the pencil. So it's not great for drawing if I think I'm going to be erasing. It was really hard to erase. Plus, I think the gesso is a little bit to erase over the top as well. And even this simple act of tracing over the letters, I'm present to the words, I'm present to my breath. I can't go super fast, so it's forcing me to just slow down a little bit. I'm always looking for those creative practices that do evoke that sense of calm. And this is a really fun shape here. Maybe we're going to block some of these out just a little bit. Just playing with those letters. And this is not a new Sharpie, so I'm noticing it's a little draggier than that other one. It's going to get the job done. Present. I had a wonderful conversation with a former client yesterday who's interested in becoming a coach, and I was telling her about some of the things in the trainings that I had done, and was able to study with just some real masters of presence. It taught me so much about just staying fully present in the room with people when we're teaching or speaking live. Or when we're sitting in the room with a friend or a spouse. So often we're distracted, thinking about what to say next, how to insert ourselves into a conversation. We're not actually fully present. So practicing listening, practicing presence helps us connect to ourselves, but also feel more deeply connected to others as well. So you could color this page with just about anything. I even saw one example of someone who was doing this with kids and colored it with crayons and Crayola markers. And I'm using watercolor because it's what I had at hand. I thought about using my nice Derwent ink tints, but and I might bring those in for maybe a little detail work. We'll see. All right, that Sharpie is just about on its last legs. I'm getting some gray in there rather than that nice black I like. I'm just adding some interesting shapes in between the letters here. The letters themselves can be shapes, but we also have these wonderful spaces between. Just looking for places I can add, again, just a little bit of that visual interest. Of course, I can always come back here and decorate those letters, add just a few little lines and marks. And I'm being pretty messy about this. I am not trying too hard to make it perfect because I am definitely not perfect, definitely not a perfectionist. And as soon as I start to hear that inner critic or lean into perfectionism, it pops me right out of that mindful, creative space that I want to be in when I'm making art. So just noticing that chatter in your head as you're writing all these words. Ooh, thank you, Marion. I love that. I love her art, Hilma af Klint. Love her art. Definitely have to go check that one out. I don't think I can buy any more books for a little while, though. I need to make some progress through my giant stack of to be read books. I finished Your Brain on Art, and so now I am reading one called Hero on a Mission, which is all about how to be the hero in your life and how we play all the roles of hero, victim, and villain. Sometimes in a single day, we might bounce between those roles. So as I read a little bit more, I'll share a little bit more about that one as well. Okay, I'm having so much fun just with these black marks, but also feeling like, okay, Minette, let's get on with the painting. And I'm in no rush. I have nowhere I have to be other than right here with the page. And I can always add more black at the end, but already it feels like a fun, happy page of I am statements. And I've added so much in the other parts, all of a sudden it's interesting. This line is really standing out from all the other ones. And I'm like, okay, do I want it to match or is it okay for it just to stay the way it is? I think I'm going to leave it as is for a moment, and then I might always come back at the end. All right, time to play with some paint. So I have my watercolors. I have some water here. Move all these guys out of the way. And I'm going to work with a couple of smaller brushes probably to make sure I'm keeping the detail. I have a number 6 round, which is pretty worn out, and this looks like it's tiny. It's probably a number 2, right? And then I actually have a little flat brush as well. I really love flat brushes. So we'll see where we get to. I'm just going to activate these watercolors a little bit. Get my brush nice and wet. And I'm going to grab a rag. So one of the things about working with watercolor to remember is learning how to control the amount of water is the trickiest part. And my palette's not super clean, so my yellow may not stay super yellow. But I can come in and look at each space around the letter as a block of color. And maybe I want to shift and move some of those colors around, have them sort of morph and blend into each other. I could also just paint the whole lines colors, but there's something fun about just having fun with some of this color. I like this orange. I'm going to get some more of this orange in here. And so we're just going to take our time just sort of playing on the page with color. Okay, this orange for some reason this morning is making me super happy, probably because it's so dark and gloomy outside, and what I need are some of those brighter, more vibrant colors. So noticing what palette are you feeling drawn to, what colors lift your spirits, or what colors really connect to the page here. Some of this beautiful opera pink on there. Notice if there's colors that you look at and you go, ooh, and you have resistance to those colors. Wherever we have resistance, there's always something to be learned there as well. And I'm liking leaving these letters kind of open, but also thinking they're probably going to get some more color added to them. And I'm probably going to work all over the piece a color at a time so that I can keep colors separate where there's, maybe some places where I don't want the colors to flow together. So if I tried to paint this background space right now, what would happen would be that all my colors would run together. So I'm just going to really take my time, enjoy the mindful play. Apparently, this is going to be a little longer session. Can't be too long. I have a client at 9 and I'm still in my pajamas. All right, just having fun, just putting in some of that pink and noticing, do you want it to be a little more intense, a little more vibrant, a little less transparent? Then you're going to want to come in with less water. We get that beautiful watery flow. I love this washed look, right? So just noticing what the watercolors are doing, how they're acting on the page. Definitely need some more yellow. And some yellow here. And I'm noticing where as I'm painting, it looks like it's covering up that the blackness of the Sharpie, but then I'm noticing as it dries that the Sharpie is coming back through to the top. So if all of a sudden you're thinking you can't see your letters, don't worry about it. You can always, once it's completely dry, go back with your Sharpie one more time. And darken up those letters again, especially here where I'm using a little less water in my pigment to get a little more vibrant color. But definitely what I'm feeling is that need for just something really vibrant and bright this morning. Feels like it's been raining for just days here, and because of that, it's beautifully green and flowers that like haven't people haven't seen for years are blooming again in all kinds of places. Okay, blue. This is called Sleeping Beauty Turquoise, and I absolutely love it. Using just that very tip of my brush, that nice point on my brush. So again, that blue bled over, so it's going to bleed into that orange a little bit. That's just okay. That's what happened. But I want to be just mindful again of how much water I'm putting on my brush. And I'm okay if there's white spaces showing. I don't need, every little bit of every little corner to be covered. I kind of like that fun, playful look. And already I'm looking at this page thinking, this is a really happy page. It feels creative, radiant, alive, right? Some of those words that I've included in there. Let's see. Let's try. This is a phthalo turquoise that is a really lovely color. So I'm wondering, more water there. If we try something different in one of these spaces, and maybe we let those colors flow together. Some nice blues and greens happening in there. Watercolor is one of those things that I don't always pick up. It's not necessarily my first go-to, but I absolutely, if you've got a hair dryer nearby, you can absolutely just grab your hair dryer or craft dryer and dry it up a little bit so you can keep working. No problem. But I love watercolor for morning creative play like this, right? It really, to me, is just a beautiful tool, I think, in some ways, because it's so imprecise. It can be precise, but I'm not a master at that precision part. And so for me, it always ends up providing that kind of just abstract, playful fun. And you know what? If all the colors flow together, it's just not a big deal. And I also love this because it feels like I had some fun creating my own coloring page. And I'm loving this so much, I'm thinking I want to do a series of them with maybe different quotes and different images, but how fun would it be to do a series of these? Because I love the black and white line work. That black and white line work always makes me happy. All right, think about where I'm going. Oh, my green all bled into my orange over here. So I can brighten that orange up again. Ended up getting a little bit more brown than I wanted. And even with this piece, I'm present to don't just put a color in one place on the page unless you really want that color to stand out, but instead to make sure that you're using a single color in 3 different places on the page is usually a good number. More is fine, but at least 3. So I'm definitely going to get a little bit of running happening over in here. It's totally fine. All right, so this color is interesting. Let's see if we can brighten it up just a little bit. It's ended up being a little bit mustardy, which is kind of fun. But I could see this being my morning practice for a little while, just writing a little bit differently in my journal, which helps keep my journal practice alive too, right? And so I don't get super caught up or like I get bored pretty quickly. And so I often need things to change. Thank you, Blanca. I am loving them too. I am loving them too. I'm telling you, it's this opera pink. We're just going to let those mix together and see what happens. I kind of like this like flowy page here or section here, but it doesn't match the other section. So I'm going to probably come in and add a little more color on top of that once it's dry. I can also see coming back to this with a white gel pen. Right, Marion? I'm thinking about like some of Mary Oliver's my favorite lines from Mary Oliver poems, being able to come in and, do this with lines of a poem. But I could also do more I am statements because they definitely serve me. And I might try it also with a much thinner pen and see what else I can create. I have a kitty over here tapping me on the leg. You want to come say hello? Come on. Good morning. It's the first time she's been down here in the morning with me for a while because I think I mentioned at some other point, it's like we've lost her to the garage because we have crickets in the garage and she has been a mad little hunter hunting crickets, thankfully only once as she left a pile of dead ones outside my bedroom door. And at least they were dead, not alive. So I got some beautiful flow happening here and here. And if I don't want that, then I can always take just a paper towel or a tissue. So I think I'm going to push that back a little bit, but I love how it flowed a little bit over here. And I'm finding that number 6 brush was perfect. All right, so I think I want some more of this turquoise, and I'm going to keep it pretty intense. Georgia, it's not really easy to paint with. It's not. I know. If you haven't signed up for my next Mythical Makeover, that starts next Wednesday and featuring inspired by rather than featuring the novels of Nancy Drew, which were my favorites as a girl. And how that's going to work is each day there's going to be a recorded clue that you follow, and it will be a writing and art prompt, and they'll all be pretty short and simple. And then on this Saturday we'll have and there's also a Q&A call each day, and then on this Saturday we'll have one of my 3-hour mini retreats that I love so much. And there's already a bonus bookmaking video in the classroom ready to go for people who love traveler's notebooks as much as I do to make a traveler's notebook. And I'm going to be giving away some Nancy Drew books. I've been looking everywhere in used bookstores, and I finally found one in a town nearby yesterday, and bought a stack of 8 Nancy Drew novels, some older than others, but I'm going to be giving those away throughout the experience, which feels really fun. Also, all right, I want some more of that bright orange, so let's see if we can get that happening. A little bit mixing those colors. This is definitely an exercise in both mindfulness and patience. I can notice like when my brain starts to get distracted or I feel myself wanting to speed up and move things along. I can see that the top of the hour is coming and I need to shift gears for my client. And yet I know if I just stay here, stay focused, it'll all come together. And I'm so excited about all the clues. I've had fun brainstorming the clues each day. And the whole idea is about becoming the detective in your own life, which is what this morning art activation process is all about. Like, how do we become the detective in our own life so that we're just more conscious and present? All right, Missy, you need to go. All right, this is so fun. This is definitely going to be a habit for a little while. So I think I'll do a video recording either early tomorrow morning or later this evening. And I'm going to do the same process, but I'm going to do it with all the roles I play. And I'll have that pre-recorded. And so if you want to have an appointment with your creativity tomorrow, I can't be here live, but I will definitely have something available and new for you to watch. All right, it's getting a little messy as I'm starting to speed up a little bit and be a little more impatient. I'm getting some little watercolor blooms happening in there, and I'm just gonna go with it. Noticing I really loved this washier, brighter look. My colors got a little more intense in other places. Not good or bad, just noticing what I like. And what I like is that little bit more of a wash. I wouldn't have thought that to be true, but maybe it's something also just about the paper that I'm working on. And you're welcome, Marion. They're so much fun to create, and it gives me an excuse to sit here and play for another hour today. One of the things Andrea had talked about in our Beyond the Page retreat this weekend was how she was using some of her scraps of paper as little decorative cards. And I have a ton of them from journal making or other projects that are cut and lying over by my paper cutter. And I've been wondering what to do with them. And so now I'm thinking I could do a series of these maybe on a set of cards. But really love how this turned out. Again, I think once it's dry, completely dry, I might clean up some lines and some of the black lines, maybe go back over some of them a little bit. I might come back in with a white gel pen as well and just add, or a Posca, I'll see what works better, and add some dots and highlights. Like I'm thinking it would be fun to come in here and just add a few little white highlights for some playful little bit of fun. I don't know if this is dry yet. But some other places where we can just look and see what else could I do? What else could I do? Like I'm thinking, and I'm not being patient for my paint to dry, but I wanted you guys to maybe just see some other little ways that you could come in after the fact and continue to play, because I think it's that extended play. It's like my sacred circle practice. All the ways that I can continue to just add to and decorate and just be with the words, be with the art, be on the page. And yes, this particular palette works really well together, even though in some places, it definitely got that, little bit messier, right? But it still looks pretty fun on there. So pretty happy with how that turned out. As always, thank you so much for joining me. So there'll be a recording for tomorrow, not a live call, but I will be back live with all of you with bells on Thursday morning for some more Painting in Your PJs with Minette. Thank you for joining me live. Thank you for catching the replay. Please hit that like button and let me know you enjoyed it. Let other people know you enjoyed the process so we can continue to encourage other people to come along and play. Awesome. I look forward to seeing it, Blanca. If you share it on Instagram and be sure and tag me so you can see what you're up to. Have a beautiful rest of your day, everybody, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye bye.